Welcome to English Avenue Memes, where every story teaches you more than just English. Today's story is called Don't Waste Your Time. It's not just a story about learning English. It's a story about life, choices, and the value of every single moment. As you listen, you'll practice real, natural English, the kind people use in everyday life. And you'll also learn how to make every day count. This story will take you on a journey with Daniel, a man who once thought time was endless. He spent his days doing nothing special, just letting the hours pass by. But one simple conversation changed everything. It opened his eyes to the power of time and the power of learning. So, as you listen, repeat the sentences. Answer the questions aloud. Imagine the scenes in your mind. Because the best way to learn English is to live the story. Are you ready? Let's begin. Don't waste your time, my dear English learner. Today's story is special. It's not only a story, it's a journey that will help you grow, inspire you, and make your English stronger, clearer, and more confident. The title of our story is Don't Waste Your Time. So take a deep breath, relax, and listen carefully. Repeat after me when I say key phrases. Ready? Let's begin. There was once a young man named Daniel. Daniel lived in a small town surrounded by green hills and peaceful rivers. He was kind, funny, and full of dreams. He wanted to learn English, travel the world, and do something meaningful with his life. But there was one problem. He was wasting his time. Every day Daniel woke up late. He spent hours scrolling on his phone, watching random videos and talking about plans he never started. He said things like, "Tomorrow I'll start," or "maybe next week." Does that sound familiar? Maybe you've said those words too. Tomorrow, later, someday. But someday often becomes never. Daniel's mother used to tell him, "Son, time is like water. It flows away, and you can never hold it." But Daniel just smiled and said, "Don't worry, Mom, I have plenty of time." He didn't realize that every moment he wasted was a piece of his dream disappearing. One day, Daniel's best friend, Lily, invited him to a community English class. She said, "Daniel, come with me. The teacher is amazing and we can practice together." But Daniel hesitated. "I'm busy," he said, even though he wasn't. He was just scared. Scared to fail. Scared to start. Lily looked at him and said, "You keep saying you want to speak English, but wanting isn't enough, Daniel. You need to act." Her words touched him. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He thought about all the things he wanted to do but never started. He realized he was wasting not only his time, but his potential. The next morning, something changed. He got up early, washed his face, looked in the mirror, and said, "No more wasting time. Today, I start." He went to the English class with Lily. When he entered the classroom, he felt nervous. Everyone was speaking, repeating sentences, laughing. He felt behind, but the teacher smiled warmly and said, "Welcome, Daniel. You're right on time." The teacher's voice was calm and confident. "Remember," he said, "learning English is not about perfection. It's about progress." Daniel sat down, opened his notebook, and wrote his first sentence in English. "I don't want to waste my time anymore." Repeat that with me. I don't want to waste my time anymore. Good. Say it again with confidence. I don't want to waste my time anymore. From that day, Daniel began a new chapter of his life. Every morning, he studied a little English. He listened to short stories, watched educational videos, and practiced speaking with Lily. Some days were easy. Some days were hard. But he kept going, because he remembered his promise. One evening, Daniel sat in a cafe with his notebook. He was writing about his goals when an old man sat beside him. The man smiled and said, "You look focused. What are you studying?" Daniel said proudly, "I'm learning English." The old man nodded. "Good. English will open many doors for you. But remember, time opens none. It only closes them. Use your time well." That sentence stayed in Daniel's heart. Time opens none. It only closes them. It reminded him that time never stops for anyone. It keeps moving with or without us. So we must move with it. Let's pause for a moment. Think about your own life. How do you spend your time? Do you use it to learn, to grow, to become better? Or do you let it slip away day after day? Be honest with yourself. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. Now let's practice some useful English phrases from Daniel's story. Repeat after me slowly and clearly. I want to learn English. I'm ready to start. No more wasting time. Every minute matters. I can do this. Beautiful. You're doing great. You see, learning English isn't just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about building a stronger mindset. When you change your thoughts, you change your words. And when you change your words, you change your world. Daniel began to enjoy his classes. He made new friends from different countries. They practiced speaking together and shared stories. One student, Maria, was from Brazil. She said, "I used to be afraid to speak English, but now I try every day." Daniel smiled. He understood. They were all learning not just a language, but a lesson about courage. Every time Daniel wanted to give up, he remembered the phrase he wrote on his first day. "I don't want to waste my time anymore." That sentence became his motivation. He wrote it on sticky notes, on his phone wallpaper, even on his mirror. Whenever he felt lazy, he looked at it and said, "Keep going." So, my friend, let me ask you, are you wasting your time? Or are you using it to become better? You have dreams inside you. You have ideas, goals, and energy waiting to grow. Don't let them fade. Time is your most valuable gift. Use it wisely. Daniel's journey was just beginning. He didn't become fluent overnight, but he was consistent. Every day he learned one new thing. A new word, a new sentence, a new expression. Slowly, his English started to flow naturally. One day he spoke confidently in class and realized he was improving. He smiled and whispered to himself, "I'm getting better." Repeat after me, "I'm getting better every day." Yes, you are. Every time you listen, repeat, and practice, you grow. You're not wasting your time. You're investing it. Learning is like planting a seed. You water it every day, and one day it grows into a tree of success. Daniel didn't know it yet, but his story was about to take a surprising turn, one that would test his patience, his discipline, and his belief in himself. Are you ready to find out what happens next? The next few weeks passed quickly. Daniel's English class became one of his favorite parts of the week. He loved learning new phrases, listening to stories, and feeling his progress. But like every journey, his wasn't always easy. There were days when his motivation faded, days when he thought, maybe I'm not good enough. Have you ever felt like that too? When learning something new feels hard and slow? Remember, those moments don't mean you're failing. They mean you're growing. One cold morning, Daniel woke up tired. He didn't sleep well, and outside the sky was gray. He looked at his notebook and sighed. Maybe I'll skip class today, he thought. But then he saw the note on his wall. Don't waste your time. He smiled slightly. That phrase had become his daily reminder. No, he said, I promised myself. He got up, got dressed, and went to class. That day, the teacher told a story that would change the way Daniel saw time. Once, the teacher began, there was a king who wanted to understand the value of time. He asked his wise men, tell me, what is the most important moment in life? One wise man said, the past, because we learn from it. Another said, the future, because that's where our dreams live. But a young monk stood up and said, the most important moment is now, because it's the only time you can act. The class was silent. The teacher looked at them and said, remember this. The past teaches you, the future inspires you, but only the present changes you. Daniel wrote it down carefully in his notebook and underlined it. The present changes you. He repeated it in his head again and again. Later that day, Lily and Daniel sat under a tree outside the classroom, eating sandwiches. Lily said, you know, I used to waste time too. I'd say I was too tired or too busy, but now I see that small efforts add up. Daniel nodded. Yes, he said, like drops of water filling a bucket. She laughed. Exactly. One drop doesn't look like much, but one day the bucket is full. That night, Daniel decided to create a new routine. He planned his day carefully. He woke up early, studied for 1 hour, watched an English video, and wrote a short paragraph every night. At first, it was difficult to follow, but after a week, he noticed something. He felt more confident, more alive. He wasn't just learning English, he was learning discipline. Let's practice some of the useful English phrases Daniel used. Repeat after me, I'm learning every day. The present changes me. Small steps lead to big progress. I believe in myself. Very good. Keep your voice strong. Feel each word. When you say it with emotion, you remember it better. One evening after class, Daniel and his teacher were walking home together. The teacher said, Daniel, do you know why many students fail to learn English? Daniel thought for a moment. Maybe because they don't study enough? The teacher smiled. No, it's because they stop believing. They start strong, but when progress slows, they give up. Remember this, in language learning is not about speed. It's about consistency. Daniel nodded thoughtfully. So even if I learn just one new word a day, it's still progress? The teacher smiled. Exactly. One word a day is 365 words in a year, and 365 new chances to grow. That night, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about that sentence. One word a day. It sounded simple but powerful. He decided to make it his new rule. He wrote one new word on a small piece of paper and stuck it on his wall. The next day, he added another. Soon, his wall was full of English words. Hope, courage, patience, time, focus, believe. Every word had meaning. Every word told a story. Let's pause for a short vocabulary practice. Repeat after me. Hope, the feeling that good things will happen. Courage, the strength to do something even when it's hard. Patience, the ability to wait calmly. Focus, paying full attention. Believe, to have confidence in yourself or someone. You're doing excellent. Try to use these words in sentences later today. For example, I believe I can improve. I focus on my goals. I have courage to speak English. Weeks turned into months. Daniel's English improved more than he had ever imagined. One day, the teacher asked everyone to give a short speech in class. Daniel felt nervous. His hands were shaking. His heart was beating fast. He wanted to run away, but he remembered his promise. No more wasting time. So he stood up. He took a deep breath and began. Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel. I want to tell you something important. A few months ago, I was afraid. I wasted my time. I said maybe later, but today I know something. Later never comes. You have to start now. The class listened quietly. Then he smiled and said, if I can do it, you can too. When he finished, everyone clapped. Daniel felt proud, not because his English was perfect, but because he tried. He realized that success doesn't start when you're ready. It starts when you begin. After class, Lily said, Daniel, that was amazing. You spoke so confidently. Daniel laughed. I was terrified. But you did it anyway, Lily said. That's what matters. That night, Daniel looked out of his window at the stars. He thought about how far he had come. I almost gave up, he whispered, but I didn't. He smiled and said softly, Thank you, time, for teaching me how valuable you are. Dear listener, remember Daniel's story. You don't need to be perfect to start. You just need to start to become perfect. Every second you spend learning English brings you closer to your goals. Don't wait for the right moment. The right moment is now. Repeat after me. I will not wait. I will start now. I use my time wisely. Every day I grow stronger. I am proud of my progress. Beautiful. Feel those words. Let them become part of your thoughts. Because your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your life. Daniel's journey was far from over. A new challenge was waiting. Something that would test not just his English, but his attitude toward failure, patience, and time itself. It was a bright Saturday morning when Daniel received an email that made his heart race. It was from an international company that was looking for interns who could speak English. The opportunity was rare. Only a few students would be selected, and the interview would be in English. Lily rushed to tell him, Daniel, you have to apply. This is perfect for you. Daniel's excitement quickly turned into fear. But my English isn't good enough, he said. I still make mistakes. What if I forget words during the interview? Lily smiled. Daniel, you've been studying for months. You're ready. You just don't believe it yet. That night, Daniel sat alone with his notebook. He wrote down all the reasons he thought he couldn't do it. Then on the next page, he wrote reasons why he should try anyway. On the left side, I'm scared. I might fail. On the right side, I'll learn. I'll grow. I'll try. When he looked at the two lists, he realized something powerful. Fear wastes time. Every minute he spent doubting himself could have been a minute preparing. So he made a decision. He would apply. He wrote his application carefully, checking every word. When he clicked send, he smiled. Whatever happens, he said aloud, I'm proud that I tried. A week later, Daniel got another email. He was selected for an interview. His excitement returned, mixed with nerves. The interview would be online in 2 days. That meant he had 48 hours to prepare. He looked at the time on his clock and said, "Okay, no time to waste." He practiced common interview questions. "Tell me about yourself. Why do you want this position? What are your strengths?" He stood in front of a mirror, speaking slowly and clearly. Sometimes he stumbled, but each time he repeated until he felt confident. "Let's pause here for you to practice too. Repeat after me. Tell me about yourself." "My name is, and I'm a hardworking and motivated person. I want to improve my English and grow professionally." Good. Practicing aloud builds confidence. Just like Daniel, every word you say is a step toward fluency. The day of the interview arrived. Daniel sat at his desk, his laptop open, his hands slightly shaking. He took a deep breath and remembered what his teacher always said. Confidence is not about knowing everything. It's about believing you can handle anything. When the interviewer appeared on screen, Daniel smiled politely. "Good morning," he said. His voice trembled at first, but soon he relaxed. The interviewer asked questions, and Daniel answered carefully. He made small mistakes, but he didn't stop. He kept going. After 15 minutes, the interview ended. Daniel thanked the interviewer and closed his laptop. He exhaled deeply. "I did it," he whispered. He wasn't sure if he'd get the position, but he knew one thing for certain. He hadn't wasted his time. That evening, Daniel met Lily at the cafe. She smiled when she saw him. "So how was it?" "I was nervous," he said honestly, "but I finished the whole interview in English." Lily clapped her hands. "See, you did it. That's what happens when you stop waiting and start doing." A few days later, Daniel received an email with the subject line, "Congratulations. You're selected." His eyes widened. "I got it!" he shouted, jumping up, his heart filled with joy and disbelief. All those hours of practice, all those moments of doubt, they were worth it. He called his mother immediately. "Mom, I got the internship." His mother laughed. "I told you, son, time rewards those who use it well." Daniel smiled, remembering her old words about time being like water. This time he was swimming with the flow, not against it. During his first week at the company, Daniel had to speak English every day. At first he was nervous. He often searched for words and made grammar mistakes. But instead of feeling embarrassed, he reminded himself, every mistake is a lesson. Let's practice that phrase together. Repeat after me. Every mistake is a lesson. I learn from my mistakes. I'm not afraid to speak. Practice makes progress. Excellent. Keep those sentences in your heart. They'll help you any time you feel nervous. One afternoon, Daniel's supervisor asked him to give a short presentation about a project. He panicked inside. A presentation? In English? But then he smiled slightly. He had been here before, with fear, with doubt, with hesitation. And every time he overcame it. He spent the next 2 days preparing. He practiced his speech again and again, using simple, clear English. On the day of the presentation, he stood in front of 10 people, including his supervisor. He took a deep breath and began. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel, and today I want to share an idea about saving time at work. As he spoke, he saw people nodding and smiling. He realized they were listening, not to his grammar, but to his ideas. When he finished, everyone clapped. His supervisor said, "Great job, Daniel. You spoke clearly and with confidence." That moment changed Daniel's life. He realized English wasn't just a subject, it was a bridge to connect, to express, to dream. That evening, he wrote in his journal, "Time doesn't wait, but when you use it wisely, it gives you everything." My dear learner, think about that for a moment. How are you using your time? Are you practicing your English daily, even for 10 minutes? Or are you waiting for the perfect moment? Don't wait. The perfect moment is the one you create right now. Repeat after me. I am using my time wisely. I speak English with confidence. I am improving every day. I'm proud of my effort. Well done. From that day on, Daniel helped others in his class. He became a motivator, sharing his journey and reminding everyone that progress is not about speed. It's about effort. When his classmates said, "My English is bad," Daniel would reply, "It's not bad, it's just growing." And that, dear friend, is something I want you to remember too. Your English is not bad. It's growing step by step, just like Daniel's. But life, as it always does, had another test waiting for him. something that would teach him not only about language, but about patience, trust, and purpose. A few months later, Daniel's internship ended, and he returned home full of stories, experiences, and a new sense of purpose. His English had improved, but even more importantly, his mindset had changed. He now understood that time was his most precious teacher. He didn't want to waste a single moment again. But sometimes life has a way of testing the lessons we think we've already learned. After his internship, Daniel applied for a full-time job at the same company. He waited for weeks, checking his email every day. Then one morning, he finally received a reply. His heart sank as he read the words, "We appreciate your effort, but we've chosen another candidate." For a long moment, Daniel just sat there, staring at the screen. The disappointment hit him hard. "I worked so hard," he whispered. "Why not me?" Lily called him later that day. She could hear the sadness in his voice. "Daniel, I'm sorry," she said softly. "But remember what you always tell others, every failure is a lesson." Daniel sighed. "I know, but it's not easy." "It's never easy," Lily said, "but this isn't the end. Maybe it's just a sign to keep learning, to grow more." That night, Daniel went for a walk. The sky was full of stars. He looked up and said quietly, "I won't let this stop me." Then he smiled and added, "Time to begin again." He decided to use his free time to improve his English even more. He started reading English books, watching documentaries, and writing short stories. At first, it was difficult. He didn't understand every word, but he didn't give up. Each day, he pushed himself a little further. Let's take a short break to learn from Daniel's routine. You can do the same. Here's a simple plan to follow. Read one English paragraph every day. Watch a short English video or story. Write a few sentences about your day in English. Speak out loud, even if you're alone. Repeat after me, "I can learn every day. I don't give up when things get hard. I use every minute to grow. My time is valuable." Beautiful. You're speaking with energy, and that's the key to progress. As weeks passed, Daniel's writing improved. He began posting his short English stories online just for fun. One of his stories was titled, "Don't Waste Your Time." It was based on his own experience, though he changed the names. The story talked about a boy who kept waiting for the right moment to start, until he realized that the right moment never comes. It must be created. To Daniel's surprise, his story went viral. People from all around the world left comments like, "This story inspired me to start learning again," and "Thank you for this reminder. I needed it." Daniel couldn't believe it. His words, written in a language he once feared, were now inspiring others. One day, he received a message from his old English teacher. "Daniel, I read your story. You've grown so much. I'm proud of you. Do you know what's beautiful? You're now teaching the same lesson you once needed to learn." Daniel smiled and felt something warm in his heart. He realized that success isn't about fame or perfection. It's about impact. When you use your time well, your actions touch others, even in ways you may never expect. He decided to visit his old school to give a talk to students learning English. Standing in front of the class, he began, "A few years ago, I was just like you, nervous, afraid, and full of excuses. But then I learned one truth. If you keep waiting, time will keep leaving. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Use the moment you have." The students listened carefully. Daniel continued, "I used to think time was something I had to manage. But now I know it's something I have to respect. Every day is a chance to learn, to try, to grow. If you waste it, you waste yourself." After the talk, a young student came to him and said, "Your story made me want to learn again. I was going to quit, but now I'll keep trying." Daniel smiled. "Good," he said. "Remember, it's not about how fast you learn. It's about not giving up." Let's pause again to practice some key phrases Daniel used in his speech. Repeat after me with strength and feeling. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Use the moment you have. Every day is a chance to grow. Will not waste my time. Excellent. Feel how powerful those words are? When you speak them aloud, you train both your English and your mindset. As Daniel continued to teach and write, he started to understand something deeper about time. It's not just about being busy, it's about being intentional. Many people work hard but still feel empty because they're not working toward what truly matters. He once told Lily, "We often say we don't have time, but the truth is, We all have the same 24 hours. The difference is how we use them. Lily nodded. Yes, time doesn't wait for anyone, but it rewards those who move with purpose. One evening, Daniel sat in his room, reflecting on everything that had happened. The wasted days, the struggles, the small victories, the failed job, and the viral story. He opened his notebook to the very first page where he had written months ago, "I don't want to waste my time anymore." He smiled and whispered, "I kept my promise." Then he turned the page and wrote a new sentence. "Now I want to help others use their time wisely too." That simple line became the beginning of his next journey. Dear learner, remember this: your time is your life. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," a piece of your dream fades. But every time you say, "I'll do it now," your dream grows. Repeat after me. I choose to act now. My time is my power. I make every moment count. I'm becoming the best version of myself. Excellent work. Daniel's story was far from over. He had learned how to use time, but he was about to learn how to share it with others who needed guidance, encouragement, and hope. His next challenge would teach him the power of giving time, not just using it. Daniel's new goal was clear. He wanted to help others make the best use of their time, just as he had learned to do. So he began volunteering at a local community center that offered free English lessons. When he first arrived, the classroom was small and filled with people from many backgrounds: young students, workers, mothers, even retirees. Some could only say a few words in English. Others spoke more but lacked confidence. Daniel introduced himself. "Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel. I'm not a perfect English speaker, but I'm here to learn with you." The class smiled warmly. One woman raised her hand and said shyly, "You speak English very well." "I can't," Daniel smiled. "You can too. You just haven't given yourself enough time yet." From that day, Daniel taught simple lessons using stories, just like the ones that had helped him learn. He believed that stories make learning easier because they connect to real life. He often began class by asking, "What did you do today?" Or "What's one thing you're grateful for this week?" These small questions helped everyone start speaking, even if their sentences weren't perfect. Let's pause for your own practice. I'll ask you the same questions Daniel asked his students. Answer them out loud. What did you do today? What's one thing you're grateful for this week? Good. Even short answers help build confidence. Remember, speaking a little is better than staying silent. Over time, Daniel became more than a teacher. He became a mentor. He shared his own story with his students, how he had wasted time, felt afraid, and decided to change. His honesty inspired them. One student named Arif told him, "When I started, I thought I was too old to learn. But after hearing your story, I realized it's never too late." Daniel smiled and replied, "That's right, Arif. Time doesn't care about age, it cares about effort." Week after week, Daniel saw his students grow. Some who were once too shy to speak began to share stories about their families, dreams, and daily lives. Others started using English at work or writing short messages online. Each small success filled Daniel's heart with joy. He also noticed something interesting. Teaching others helped him learn faster. When he explained grammar or pronunciation, he discovered gaps in his own understanding and fixed them. It reminded him that sharing knowledge never wastes time. It multiplies it. Let's practice some of Daniel's favorite motivational phrases from class. Repeat after me. It's never too late to learn. Teaching helps me learn too. I will keep improving. Time rewards effort. Excellent. You're speaking with rhythm and confidence. That's how language becomes natural. One evening, after class, Daniel stayed behind to clean up. As he stacked chairs, he overheard two students talking. One said, "I wish I had started learning English earlier. Now I feel like it's too late." The other replied, "No, look at Daniel. He started late too, and now he's teaching us." Daniel felt touched. He realized that by sharing his time, he was helping others realize the value of theirs. He whispered to himself, "I used to waste time, but now I'm helping others save it." The next morning, Daniel met Lily for coffee. She had recently gotten a new job and was busy, but they always made time for each other. She smiled and said, "You've changed, Daniel. You used to rush through life. Now you seem calm and focused." Daniel laughed. "Maybe it's because I finally understand what time really means." It's not something to control. It's something to respect. Lily nodded thoughtfully. So what's next for you? Daniel looked out the window for a moment. I think I want to write a book. Not a big one, just something simple. A book of stories that can help others learn English and learn about life. That's a wonderful idea, Lily said excitedly. Your story will inspire so many people. That evening, Daniel began writing. He didn't have a clear plan, he just started. He titled the first chapter, Don't Waste Your Time. The same title as the story that had changed his life. He wrote about fear, effort, and hope, using simple English that anyone could understand. At first, it was difficult. He wrote a few sentences, deleted them, then started again. But he didn't stop. He remembered his teacher's words, consistency beats perfection. So he wrote every night, even if it was just one paragraph. Slowly, his pages filled up. Let's take a moment for some writing practice. Repeat after me, then write it somewhere later. Consistency beats perfection. I can start small, but I won't stop. Every word I learn brings me closer to my goal. My time is my greatest investment. Beautiful work. After a few months, Daniel completed his book. He self-published it online, thinking maybe a few people would read it. But just like before, his story reached thousands. Readers loved the way he used everyday English to teach deep lessons. Comments poured in. Your book changed how I see learning. And you made English feel easy and meaningful. Daniel couldn't stop smiling. He thought about the boy he used to be, the one who said, maybe tomorrow. And now here he was, helping people all around the world. He felt thankful that he had once decided to stop wasting time and start living with purpose. One day, during class, one of his students asked, Teacher, how can I stay motivated every day? Daniel replied, Motivation is like a flame. If you protect it and feed it, it stays bright. But if you ignore it, it goes out. So feed your motivation with small daily actions. Study a little, speak a little, read a little. Even on bad days, do something small. That's how you keep the fire alive. Now I want you to repeat Daniel's motivational advice aloud. Small actions keep my motivation alive. I don't need to be perfect. Just need to keep going. Every day I move one step closer to my dream. Well done. By now, Daniel had truly become an inspiration. But as he continued teaching, writing, and helping others, he realized there was one more thing he needed to learn: how to balance his time between helping others and caring for himself. Because even good intentions can turn into exhaustion if we forget to rest. That final lesson was waiting for him just around the corner. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Daniel's life began to change, not in one big dramatic moment, but in small, beautiful ways. His mornings were no longer filled with endless scrolling or meaningless routines. He woke up earlier, made his bed, and opened his notebook. The same notebook that once had only 3 words, "Don't waste time," was now full of ideas, lessons, and English phrases he had learned and practiced. Each day, he spoke to himself in English even when no one was around. "Good morning, Daniel," he would say in front of the mirror, smiling. "Today is a good day to learn." It became his morning ritual, a simple but powerful way to start the day with purpose. He began to notice progress in his speech. When he watched English videos, he understood more. When he read books, he recognized words that once confused him. And when he spoke to others, his words came out smoother, clearer, more confident. That feeling of improvement, it was addictive. One day, while waiting for a bus, Daniel met a young woman named Mia. She was sitting next to him, reading a small English novel. Daniel smiled and said, "That's a nice book." She looked up, surprised and impressed. "You speak English really well," she said. "Are you a student?" Daniel laughed. "Always," he replied. "A student of life and time." Mia laughed too, and they began talking about books, dreams, and learning. She told him she was studying to become a teacher. Daniel told her about his journey, how he once wasted his time but decided to change. Mia listened carefully and said, "You know, not everyone realizes how valuable time is until it's too late. You're lucky you found your way early." Her words stayed in Daniel's heart. That evening he wrote in his notebook, "Time is not lost. It's either invested or wasted. The choice is mine." Soon, Daniel was invited by his English teacher to give a short talk at the community center. The topic? How to learn English with purpose. At first, he hesitated. He thought, who am I to teach others? Still learning. But then he remembered the old man from the park, the one who said, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. So Daniel said yes. On the day of the event, the small room was filled with students. Some young, some older, all eager to learn. Daniel stood in front of them, a little nervous but also excited. He looked at the faces in front of him and said softly, "Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel, and I want to tell you a story about time, mistakes, and learning." He began telling them how he used to waste hours doing nothing, thinking he had all the time in the world, how he met a stranger in the park who changed his perspective, how he started learning English not just to speak another language, but to change his mindset. As he spoke, he noticed people nodding, smiling, and even taking notes. His words were simple, but his message was powerful. He said, when you waste your time, you're not just wasting minutes. You're wasting opportunities. You're wasting chances to grow, to improve, to connect with the world. But when you use your time wisely, you build something greater than knowledge. You build character. He paused for a moment and looked at the audience. If you're learning English, he said, don't do it just to pass a test or to get a job. Do it to become a better version of yourself, because every word you learn is a seed. Every sentence you practice is a step toward confidence. And every mistake you make is proof that you are trying. The audience clapped. Some even stood up. Daniel felt a warmth inside that he had never felt before. It wasn't pride, it was gratitude. Gratitude for time, for learning, and for life itself. After the talk, an older man approached him. He had kind eyes and a gentle smile. You spoke from the heart, he said. That's the language everyone understands. Daniel smiled and said, thank you. I guess I just wanted to remind people not to waste time, because I almost did. The man nodded. Time wasted is a lesson learned if you decide to change, he said. And you did. That night, Daniel walked home under the soft light of the street lamps. The world felt different, but maybe it wasn't the world. It was him. He had changed. He had become someone who respected time, who learned from the past, and who believed in growth. He thought of the old man in the park and whispered into the cool night air, thank you. Then he smiled and added, I'm still learning. And that's the beautiful thing, he never stopped. He kept reading every day. He listened to English podcasts while cooking, watched English movies with subtitles, and practiced writing short stories. But more importantly, he shared what he learned. He helped others who struggled, just like he once did. He told them, don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. In one of his lessons, Daniel said something that his students would never forget. Time is like water. If you don't hold it, it will slip away. Use it to grow, to learn, to live. Because one day you'll look back and realize the moments you invested in yourself were never wasted. His story spread across the community. People began talking about him, not as the man who wasted time, but as the man who transformed it. And that was his greatest achievement. Not fame, not fluency, but transformation. Now, as you listen to this story, think about your own life. Are you using your time well? Are you learning something every day? Are you moving closer to your dreams, even one small step at a time? Repeat after me. I will not waste my time. I will learn something new every day. I will grow into the best version of myself. Good. Say it again, this time with feeling. I will not waste my time. I will learn something new every day. I will grow into the best version of myself, because this isn't just Daniel's story. It's your story too. You have the same 24 hours, the same chance to learn, to improve, and to change. So don't waste it. Start today. Start now, because the best time to learn is always now.